Where are they now? The 11 college basketball recruits ranked higher than Bam Adebayo in the 2016 college basketball recruiting class 10 years later. Well, first up to start, just in front of him at 11 is Miles Bridges, who committed to play for Michigan State. And in his 2 years of college basketball with the Spartans, he was dominant, being named a consensus second-team All-American in the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. And that allowed him to be picked 12th overall in the 2018 NBA draft by Los Angeles, where he was immediately traded off to Charlotte, becoming a good player, and recently just got a big contract extension. Then cracking into the top 10 is Malik Monk, who committed to play for Kentucky. He was flat out dominant and an amazing scorer with the Wildcats, as he was not only named the SEC Freshman of the Year, but also the SEC Player of the Year and a consensus second-team All-American. And that allowed him to be picked 11th overall in 2017 by Charlotte, where he'd been kind of disappointing in the league, but currently has found his home with the Kings, becoming a good player. Then coming in at 9 is Jonathan Isaac, who committed to play for Florida State. And he had a good one-and-done year of college basketball, with the Seminoles being picked 6th overall in the 2017 NBA draft. And since then, he's now currently in his 7th season in the NBA with the Orlando Magic, where he's looked solid at times, but has been kind of disappointing. Then just in front of him at 8 is Jason Tatum, who committed to play for Duke. And he was an amazing all-around player in his freshman year at Duke, going on to be picked 3rd overall in the 2017 NBA draft by Boston. And he's now currently in his 9th season in the NBA with the Celtics, where he's been amazing, making 6 All-Stars and even helping them win an NBA championship, returning this season after rupturing his Achilles. Then at 7 is Dennis Smith Jr., who committed to play for NC State. And he was an amazing scorer in his 1 year with the Wolfpack, being named the ACC Rookie of the Year before going on to be picked 9th overall in the 2017 NBA draft by Dallas. And outside of a good rookie season, he actually regressed every year in the NBA, currently playing for the Sioux Falls Skyforce of the G League. Then coming in at 6 is De'Aaron Fox, who committed to play for Kentucky. And he was an extremely good playmaker in his 1 year with the Wildcats, being named the SEC Tournament MVP before being picked 5th overall in the 2017 NBA draft. And after that, through his first 7 years in the NBA with Sacramento, he became a good player before being traded off to the San Antonio Spurs, where he's currently breaking out in 2025 as a great playmaker, making his 2nd All-Star appearance. Then cracking into the top 5 is Frank Jackson, who also committed to play for Duke. And he had a good freshman year of college basketball at Duke, which allowed him to be picked in the 2nd round of the 2017 NBA draft. After that, though, in the league, he was just a role player, being kind of disappointing and bouncing around, currently playing professional basketball in China. Then just in front of him at 4 is Markelle Fultz, who committed to play for Washington. He was a dominant scorer in his 1 year with the Huskies, averaging 23.2 points per game, as he was named a first-team All-Pac-12 selection. And that allowed him to be picked 1st overall in the 2017 NBA draft by Philadelphia, where he was a complete and total bust in the league, bouncing around and last playing for the Kings in 2025. Alright guys, if you haven't done so already, just make sure to subscribe. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps me out immensely. Now back to the video. Then cracking into the top 3 is Harry Giles, who committed to play for Duke. And he had a very disappointing and underwhelming season in his 1 year with Duke, but would still be picked in the 1st round of the 2017 NBA draft. After that, though, he was just a role player in the league, not really getting that big of an opportunity, and is currently playing overseas in China. Then coming in at 2 is Lonzo Ball, who committed to play for UCLA. He was an amazing player in his 1 year with the Bruins, being named the National Freshman of the Year and a consensus first-team All-American. And that allowed him to be picked 2nd overall in the 2017 NBA draft with the Lakers, where he was overall just a bust in the league, being very disappointing and bouncing around, last playing for the Cavaliers before he sadly had to retire due to medical issues. Guys, real quick, I want to give a special thanks and shout out to Prize Picks. If you're living under a rock and do not know what Prize Picks is, it is the best place to make picks on players and teams. Prize Picks is super simple to use, as you just pick more or less on a few player stats to create a lineup. And like I specified earlier, Prize Picks also has team picks and is available in 34 states listed here on the map. So if you guys are here, you obviously love sports, so make sure to check to see if your state's listed on the map, as they not only have basketball, but also baseball and football as well. And what makes things even better is I recently just partnered up with PrizePicks to help you guys out. So use the code HuddleHouse on PrizePicks, or the link in my description, to download PrizePicks and get in on the action. It is extremely easy to use, and when you use the code HuddleHouse and play $5, you'll get $50 in lineups instantly. Yes, that's it. All you have to do is pick more or less than on a few player stats, and thank you once again to PrizePicks, and make sure to use the code HuddleHouse. Now back to the video. And finally, at number 1 is Josh Jackson, who committed to play for Kansas. He was a great overall player in his 1 year with the Jayhawks, being named a Big 12 Freshman of the Year and a 3rd-team All-American. And that allowed him to be picked 4th overall in the 2017 NBA draft with Phoenix, where he was also just a role player in the league, bouncing around and last playing for the Stockton Kings in 2023.